Welcome to another episode of Blind Boys Politics, and we're here with you for another fantastic Friday show. Chris, how are we tonight?
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, people.
It's a great day in paradise. I like Fridays.
Course. Well, yeah, Fridays are amazing for many reasons. Most notably for me, it's the last day of my hell that I call a week, the school week.
Can I tell everyone what we're doing after this?
Sure.
We're going bowling.
Yeah, we are going bowling on Friday.
Do you remember the bet that we had about mini golf and how I beat you?
Oh,
Do
yeah.
we all remember? Yeah. Do we want to place another bet for bowling?
No, because I know you're going to beat me in bowling.
Really? Because I was going to say you were going to beat me.
Oh, no, probably not, dude. Especially not first game. First game, I'm usually atrocious.
You know, I used to bowl a lot last year before everything shut down. And it was just about every single day we were going bowling. It took me about 2 weeks before I was starting to get like more than 2 strikes a game.
See, okay, here's the thing. My first game, because guys, I refuse to use bumpers. I just no.
Well, you use too heavy of a ball. I've seen you play, and it's too heavy.
Probably. But on my first game, I usually score a solid 30 if I'm lucky.
Because I remember the last time we played, I gave you a lighter one, and it was, I don't even think, doing it twice, you got to strike the next one.
Maybe. I don't remember last time too well.
Because that's what I always do. I pick a ball that I think, is just right, and then I go one size lower. That sounds really wrong, but that's what I do.
I'll probably go 10-pound ball, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
That's what I usually do.
Yeah.
And then when I'm feeling really happy, I get a 20-pound ball, and I bowl backwards. I shit you not.
Yeah.
We were bowling backwards. We were betting, and I was doing terribly. So I was like, I already lost this bet. Here's my money. Take it. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to bowl backwards. I kid you not. I got a freaking strike.
That sounds like you, though.
And I do have video evidence of it. So everyone's like, you couldn't do that again. I was like, I think I could. I did it one more time. Only 2 times in history, both times recorded. And I swear to God, when I walked back, everyone's mouth was dropped like, I was like, I know I'm blind. Am I seeing things now? And I'm like, is the brain losing some cords up there? What is going on?
Yeah.
There's no way I just got a strike going backwards.
Well, it's funny because I remember one time going bowling. The person I was bowling with, we were coming like right down to the. I think I had beat him by this point in the game, and we had kind of screwed up turns at one point, and so we get to the 10th frame, and I don't remember exactly how it went down, but I ended up taking his extra roll because I think he got a spare. Yeah, he got a spare. So for some reason, I ended up taking his extra roll. And I got him a strike. That was like my 3rd strike of that game.
I bet you were his best friend.
I don't remember if I still ended up winning or not. It was close. But that was like my 3rd strike of that game. And I've never had like a better game since or ever before that, if I remember correctly.
So I have a question.
All right.
For our bet, you're betting that I'm going to win and I'm betting you're going to win? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, I think that's going to be our bet.
We have real confidence in each other.
Oh, yeah. Now how do we want to
Or in ourselves, I mean.
Ourselves. Yeah. Do we want to bet by game or do we want to bet like by final result?
By game.
By game?
Keep it simple.
Okay.
And I think whoever wins. So if I do better than you,
yeah,
I need to buy you cheesecake or whatever you want at Olive Garden when we go there. Yeah. I love how the winner has to buy the loser. Dessert. Mm,
Oh my god.
okie
That,
dokie. That
that's where
really
we
shows
are,
our
guys.
confidence level in ourselves with bowling.
Oh yeah.
We both were like, okay.
Well, it's funny, we go into mini golf with all the confidence in the world in ourselves, and then in this,
I
just
was
absolutely
figuring you were gonna
zero.
have confidence, and I was like, "You're so right. You are so gonna win." But
No, I'm terrible.
so the bets are placed. We'll let you know what happens Monday morning.
Yep.
But for now, I think we got to get into some news because we are jam packed with news.
No doubt about that. Let's get right into it. And of course, we start out as we've been talking about a lot lately. As I've said before, it's just an unescapable topic, and that's COVID. And we got some more news about that.
The governor of Colorado has tested positive for COVID-19, and Florida has hit 1 million cases Tuesday. And Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York said hospitals he fears will be overrun, and he's setting up the emergency facilities like we've touched on that. I think it was last Friday.
Yeah, so one of the main reasons that that's being said is, if you don't know, hospitalizations right now are going through the roof. On Thanksgiving, if you remember, there were 90,000 people hospitalized, and it's just been increasing since then for the most part. On Wednesday, so the day of recording, we saw 100,000 people get hospitalized.
The first person in Wisconsin has died under the age of 20. And Dr. Anthony Fauci said in an interview Wednesday that some areas might want to consider lockdowns once again, like there was, similar back in March for certain areas with the way hospitalizations are trending and positivity rates and all that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at some of these numbers, South Dakota leads in the positivity rate right now, followed by Indiana. And beyond that, Indiana has the highest number of hospitalizations as of right now. As of December 1st, they had 3,460 hospitalizations
In one single day.
in a single, yeah. That's not just in total, that's single day.
A new statistic out of South Dakota: 1 in every 4 people knows someone that has died from COVID-19.
Yeah, and right now, Rhode Island is just, it's full, it's overflowing as far as the hospitals go.
In New York hospitals, on the flip side, there has been walkouts in 2 different hospitals. One for underpayment of staff, and the other one was not providing enough PPP for the staff. And the one that didn't have enough staff, there was an interview with one of the nurses, and she was in tears, and she said there's just not enough staff to take care of our patients. I could be taking care of one patient 1 minute, and then I go to check up on another one, and I had to come back to this one and put him on a ventilator. In the span of 1 minute, things just flipped around that fast.
Well, and this isn't even the first walkout we've reported here. If you remember, we also reported a walkout from a hospital in Pennsylvania. So
Right.
these are happening more often now, it seems. And hopefully that doesn't become a trend, because obviously we need these people. We need the nurses, we need the hospital staff to take care of as many people as we possibly can. Definitely understand where they're coming from about not being heavily staffed enough. But, at the same time, we definitely don't want to leave the hospitals completely staffless either.
Now, this is really saddening. When I heard about it, my heart kind of just tore. A Michigan couple of 51 years both died of COVID-19 2 days before Thanksgiving at exactly 4:23 p.m. Seconds apart, 4 seconds apart from one another.
Yep, I heard about this one too. It's horrible. This shouldn't happen. This shouldn't.
Um,
Man,
you know,
the fact that it has is truly heartbreaking.
And the fact of the matter is, there's all these, like I say every week, every episode, we're having all these tragedies with people, and then people have to worry about money. It's take care of my family, also put food on the table.
Oh
Those
yeah.
two aren't easy to balance. They're not. If you're the sole person that's in charge of that, that's not something easy to deal with. And now with that, 20 states have borrowed over $40 billion just to go to unemployment benefits for people that are unemployed, and the debt for states, people themselves, hasn't been this high since 2010 with the Great Recession.
Right. I was about to say, the the reason for the economic trouble back then was just just an economic recession. It's nothing like it is now. Um, when you think about it, what's going on right now just seems so much darker than 2010, and it doesn't look like it's getting any better as of right now either.
The holiday season is definitely going to be a difficult time for the weeks to come.
Of course. Well, it's as we said last episode, I believe it was. They are expecting pretty substantial spikes because of the holiday season. The spike from Thanksgiving, of course, that they're expecting still, um, and then a spike at Christmas and New Year's. So that's not going to help the situation at all either.
Nope, it's not. Um, School closure, that's kind of the big topic nowadays. Before, 2020, school closure for a long period of time, that
Almost
was just
unheard
not,
of.
yeah, it was unheard of. And now New York City schools, just the elementary schools, reopened um, Monday morning. And with that, teachers, they're burnt out. They're doing three jobs. They're teachers, they're social workers directing people to food banks, they're grief counselors, they're helping students deal with loneliness from remote learning. They're just mentally burnt out at this point.
It feels like everyone at this point is so mentally drained in the school system, whether it be the students or the teachers. Of course, last episode as well, we did talk about the failure rate of students because of the remote learning. And, you know, they're not the only ones that are affected, as we can see here. The teachers are, and the rest of the school staff everywhere across the country are just, they're slowly just being drained more and more. And it's kind of worrying to think of where that could lead and what could happen as a result.
Right. And, everyone says 9 months ago, I don't know about you, Nick, but when I think of the start of it, the date that sticks out in my head is March 13th.
Oh, of course, because
That's when schools
that's
all
when they
across the
closed.
country just started closing,
Yep.
rapid fire, and everyone was like, "What? What is
What
going
do we
on here?"
do? Yeah, what's going
No
on?
one knew what was going on. I
Exactly.
remember specifically for my school, we were the only schools that closed longer than the 2 week period. We were closed until May. I think it was May 1st, and we were like, is this an early April Fool's joke? What is going on?"
Well, my school never reopened either.
No one's school did in New York State.
Yeah, no,
Um, and it's funny now that we hear this, that it's not funny, but the very first COVID case in the United States, even before China reported of it, was way back in 2019 on December 19th. They were able to find the very first traceable COVID when they went through blood donations from Red Cross. They found the antibodies in the blood.
yeah, it's really crazy to think about because China was already being slated um, as hiding their numbers even beyond like the major outbreak, but to think that it could have been going on for that long
A year
before
now.
we knew, yeah, just about a year. Um, to think it could have been going on months before there was any word of it, and it actually spread to the United States in that time. That is something it boggles the mind, I guess I'll say. It's
And
a weird way to put it,
when
but
people first hear that, I don't know about you, but when I first heard of that, the first thing that popped into my head was I was sicker than a freaking dog early January.
mhm,
Like, I went to the doctors. They were like, it's got to be the flu. Tested for the flu, came back negative. They're like, just stay in bed, do the things that they recommend you to do. I was
right.
sicker than a dog and I had all the symptoms. Not saying it was that because I don't know. I didn't get antibody tested or anything like that. But it does make you wonder if
Well,
it was that or not.
you just saying that actually reminded me of the fact that I actually was too right around that time. Um, if I remember the timeline correctly. Now I could be wrong. I don't remember. But last time I was really sick, I ended up going to the doctor for it. They did a flu test and they did a strep test. Both came back negative, and they just said it was just probably a simple virus. Again, like you said, Chris, I haven't done an antibodies test or anything like that, but it's interesting to think that it could have been around here way back then.
Yeah, we don't know. But with COVID comes now the big topic of the vaccine. Um, so when you discuss the vaccine, there's two different areas. There's the approval and distribution. Let's first talk about the approval process. The FDA for approval usually takes years, but Pfizer and Moderna, both, fun fact, from upstate New York, have applied for emergency approval.
Right. So the Pfizer hearing will be on December 10th. If you do want to participate in, watching the hearing live, you can go to www.regulations.gov. We'll put the link to that in the show notes if you're interested, and you can hold on to it until that date. And then the Moderna hearing will be on December 17th. Now, the general consensus at this point is that the general public probably won't get access to any of the vaccines until spring of 2021.
And that puts us right into the next topic of distribution. Tuesday, the CDC Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, it's an independent group with doctors. They all met. At the end of the meeting, they have voted on the two specific groups that will get the vaccine first: healthcare workers and people that lived in skilled home facilities. Now, this is not set in stone. The CDC, it's recommendations. So the exact plan, that's written out in paper, here's the X, Y, and Z plan, it's not officially out yet.
Right.
But that's the recommendations. That's where they're leaning right now. And the vote for that was 13-1.
Oh, very close to unanimous. A bit of an interesting stat about the vaccine, or at least I find it interesting, is that they're currently saying that 70% of people are going to need to get the vaccine in order for it to be actually considered effective and for us to actually, maybe start seeing these positivity rates drop. So I just,
Right.
that's a little
So
something.
that's 70% of the population needs to get it. That's the information we have on the vaccine. Our next topic, in my opinion, is probably the scariest topic that we have and will be discussing thus far. Out of all the episodes that we've recorded, I think this is probably the scariest one if you really think about it. And that is private ambulance companies. They're running out of money.
The American Ambulance Association has actually come out and said that the 911 medical system is likely to break now because of what's going on.
They said that they are expected to break even before the Thanksgiving surge comes less than a week from now. So this is an issue that's like now,
It's
today.
immediate. Yeah.
It's not next week, the week after. They're expecting to be broke
Yep.
before the Thanksgiving surge.
And
Less than a week away.
you might be wondering, why is this happening? Why is this happening now? Well, this is going on for two different reasons. So, first of all, the equipment that they use to protect against COVID, it's not cheap. It's really not. It's quite expensive. Now, the other reason is that COVID cases aren't always brought to the hospital, and ambulance companies are only paid if you're brought to the hospital.
And you might be thinking, well, didn't the government give them money? Yes, they gave all the ambulance companies $350 million. That's it. And they also gave $350 million to dental offices and $30 billion to hospitals. So that kind of puts it in perspective of what was actually given out. And that's an issue that needs to be addressed now.
Well, yeah, if they're saying that if they're saying that they're going to be broke by the time that the Thanksgiving spike happens, that spells danger.
Immediate danger.
Immediately. Immediate
Yes.
danger now. This is happening now. And if they don't handle it, well, we could see the death rate rise because, who knows if they're going to be able to get to the hospital in time in that situation. And who knows what could it could get really bad really fast.
Yes. Now let's put, if you don't mind, if it's a-okay with you, Nick, let's put COVID behind us.
Let's just move
Close the
on.
door. We'll visit it most likely Monday.
Yeah, just take a little break from it for the rest of this episode. But we do move forward to President-elect Joe Biden. He got hurt over the weekend.
Yes, he slipped while he was playing with his dog Major, and he was brought to the doctor's Sunday night for a CAT scan and all those things. He has a hairline fracture, so that does mean it's broken. And he will have a boot for a few weeks. They did say he was brought to the hospital Sunday, not because it was an emergency and they wanted it checked out. It was just because they didn't think it was an important enough deal for them to cancel their Monday schedule for him to get it checked out.
Right. So, besides that, I mean, he's expected to heal at this point. Obviously, if you wear the boot for a few weeks, he should be fine. We move forward to some more news on the fact that he has now chosen his White House press secretary, and that is Jen Psaki. She was born in Stamford, Connecticut. She has previously worked for John Kerry as well as Barack Obama. Now, she has traveled to more than 55 countries. That's a lot of countries. I've never been to 2 countries. I've been here.
You haven't been out of the U.S.?
No, I have not. She's also married with 2 kids. But overall, she's a pretty private person, so there's not really a lot of information to really put out there about her. That's pretty much all we have.
Moving right along to our next story is the country's top lawyer, William Barr, appointed by President Trump. He has come out with a statement saying there is no voter fraud.
So everything that's been being said for how long now?
He said there is no fraud large enough that would change the outcome of the election. He said the FBI, which he does oversee, and Homeland Security looked into election machines being compromised, and they have found zero evidence of that happening. Now, later that day, he was seen at the White House for a meeting that was not put on the public calendar for him to have, and it was not expected to happen. Now, we won't know what was said or done in this meeting until someone from the Trump administration leaks it.
Fascinating.
So I'm sure when and if we find out what happens, we will let you know.
I know I'm very curious to find out.
I am too, a little bit.
You can't help but wonder what could possibly be going on in a secret meeting.
Right.
But we move forward into
more lawyer fun.
Yeah, more shady activity, I guess you'd call it. Possible shady activity, I should say. Because there's currently been word that there could be some bribery going on in exchange for pardons from Trump.
We don't know this for sure, like Nick said. A lot of information is redacted out in the report. What we do know is Trump has been considering multiple pardons for multiple people. We also know that police did raid a lawyer's office and did take 50 digital devices, including iPhones, iPads, computers, hard drives, etc. That's all we know at this time. We will, of course, keep you updated if any major developments come from this.
Oh boy.
That looks like a sticky situation. I would not want to be involved with that.
No, not at all. And it's just more negative press coming out from the White House. Obviously, we've been dealing with so much since election between the fraud and all of that and all the attempts to show fraud when there has not been any evidence found there. Now stuff like this is happening. It brings a lot of questions, and hopefully we can get the answers as it all unfolds. And of course, we, like Chris said, we'll be giving updates as that information comes. But we do move forward from here to the House and the Senate. Now, we spoke before about how they had pretty limited time when they were both in session before the end of the year to try and get things done. Well, now they have 10 days to get 3 major issues figured out until they go on, and then they go on recess.
Both chambers of Congress, the House and Senate, need to agree on a 2021 spending deal. As we've talked about this, I think 2 episodes now. If they don't, there will be a government shutdown on December 11th, and it's the last thing that we want to happen.
With all the economic issues going on right now, affecting the government workers is only going to make that worse. So hopefully they can get that done and over with. Next, they have to focus on the National Defense Authorization Act. Now, if you don't know what that is, it sets the spending levels for the military, and it also focuses on a provision in the bill supported by the House and Senate that would rename military bases that have been named after Confederate leaders.
Now, the White House had said that there has been rumors that President Trump will veto this. We'll have more information on that for you Monday. We just didn't have enough time to get it all in this episode because, as you can tell, this is a jam-packed episode. And the third and final thing is the stimulus. Both sides are still claiming that they want to get a deal done. But as we've been talking about this since September, they have not gotten no deal done yet.
Yeah, well, and as we always say, this has been the talks of the new stimulus deal have really been going on since late June. Just we're almost 6 months into this and still nothing. But this is all going on right now. While we don't know the exact balance of the Senate because of the runoff election in Georgia, so we don't know exactly what the balance is going to look like.
Right. So that's also, I'm sure, in the back of a lot of Democrats and Republican senators' minds. But let's get into voter certification a little bit.
All right.
We talked about this, I think, 2 episodes ago, and everything has gone according to what we've said. Pennsylvania certified their votes one day late. Nevada and North Carolina both certified their votes on November 24th. Arizona certified their vote December 1st. Wisconsin certified their vote a day early. And the next important date for you to remember is December 8th, which is the Safe Harbor Day, which is Tuesday morning.
And again, that's when everything needs to be wrapped up, so that the electors can officially, so the electors can be conclusive when they go to submit their vote on December 14th. But that's it as far as news goes this week. Like we said at the beginning, kind of a jam-packed week. And of course, we'll have more to cover on Monday. Some of these stories we'll give updates on as they come out with more information. But besides, getting out of all that, Chris, let's get into some rapid news, shall we?
All right, let's do it. The man that played Darth Vader, he has died at the age of 85.
Donald Trump has lost 124,000 followers on Twitter, while Joe Biden has gained 1.08 million in the last 2 weeks.
Baltimore schools were closed Monday and Tuesday due to a cyber attack. That's all we got for rapid news this Friday morning. Nick, tell us some good news.
Right, so this week we have a bit of a celebrity story. There was a 17-year-old boy, Jake Stitt from Morristown, Tennessee, who had cerebral palsy. Now, there was
had. Is he dead now? Restart.
Fucking hell.
I'm sorry. We've both done that now.
Yeah, I know.
Said it where someone dead.
Yeah, we both did it during the fucking failed elections.
Oh yeah, we did. Whoopsie.
My bad.
Maybe he is dead. I don't know.
Damn.
Not this kid. Whoever was in the failed elections.
Oh, I was gonna say. That's dark.
Not Jake.
Oh, man. Right, so this week we go to Morristown, Tennessee, where a 17-year-old boy by the name of Jake Stitt has cerebral palsy and was going through a bit of a troubled time because, being 17 years old, him and his dad were going through a bit of a tricky situation because, well, his dad had to lift him in and out of the car because they didn't have, like a car that was accessible for him. So he had to be lifted in and out of the vehicle. Well, this became a concern for his dad because he didn't want to end up dropping Jake, and he was getting to an age where, Jake was getting to an age where that might become a problem. Well, the community, he was pretty well known in his community, and people in the town were trying to raise money to help buy an accessible van for him so that he could be independent and go in and out of the vehicle on his own. Well, singer and actor Justin Timberlake heard about this, and he's from Memphis. So he was kind of touched by the story. So he got onto a private Zoom call with the family and told them that he was going to be buying them a $35,000 accessible van for them. And hours after that call happened, sure enough, the van showed up. It was covered in Alabama logos because Jake is a huge fan of the Crimson Tide college football team. So he was really happy about that. And all the money that the community raised for the van initially ended up going to the family anyway to help them with anything they needed in the future. And Jake, all he pretty much said in his when he was asked about it, he said, God bless all.
Now,
So
when I first heard about this story, I was really touched about it, but then I thought it was even more amazing that it wasn't just that the car was delivered. There was a big parade. There was um police cars leading it, and then the van came, and then there was just a whole bunch of people honking their horns as the van pulled into the driveway. And I think that is what really made it right there.
oh
The
yeah.
whole community found out about it, and then they all came together while he was sitting out in his front yard, like he always did, not expecting it to come that early, and then it just shows up.
It really is touching because seeing a community come together like that for one person, it's
And a celebrity involved.
right. It's a very special moment, and it's heartwarming, and so much negative press comes out about celebrities. We see it all the time. So to see a story like that, it touches your heart for sure.
It's truly an amazing story, and I'm glad that you chose to go with this story this week.
I loved it.
But that is the end of this Friday morning news show. If you have a news story that you want us to cover, make sure you DM us on Twitter, and we'll be happy to cover it Monday morning. Just so you know, Monday morning we will be talking about 3 things right off the bat: an update on the ban of TikTok, veto threats on the National Authorization Act, CDC changing the guidelines on quarantine, and of course, so much more. If you want to stay up to date with us in between uploads, make sure you follow us on all social medias down in the show notes down below.
It's a
And
party.
make sure you DM me on Twitter and wish me good luck bowling. And until Monday morning, see ya.
Bye, guys.